Today I fucked up by asking a pulmonologist about my vagina. Obligatory. This happened today/yesterday, but it's 4 AM and I can't sleep thinking about it, so I thought I'd post here to ease the pain. Yesterday I called to the hospital near me to get a COVID test because I came down with a sore throat and thought it's better to be safe than sorry, and I'd like to be able to go to the grocery store without thinking I'm infecting anyone. Since I'm not a patient there, they said that I'd have to have an urgent care appointment and then I could do the COVID test while I was there. I figured this was great because I could also address some other issues while I was there. Around New Year's I started to have some vaginal discomfort but haven't bothered getting it checked out because I thought maybe it would go away on its own. It didn't really, but I've been scared of leaving my house since Miss Rona hit and don't currently have a primary care physician. So anyway, I go to my appointment, do the nasal swab, and the doctor asks the obligatory, "Do you have any more questions?" Why, yes indeed I do. I proceed to ask him if my frequent UTIs are normal and he says it doesn't sound too concerning. I then ask him more questions about the specifics of my vaginal pain. I'll spare you the details, thinking he might have me do a pee sample for some tests to get some solid answers. I'm no stranger to gooch issues and in the past I'd be tested for diabetes, infections, etc. Well, the doctor basically says he doesn't know what to do about my problems, which I thought was kind of strange considering this is urgent care after all. No worries though, I figured he's probably busy with all these patients at urgent care, and I ought to go see a gyno one of these days anyway. I leave eagerly awaiting my COVID results, and that's when I realize, there's signs everywhere that say respiratory clinic urgent care, which means I just spent what felt like 20 minutes asking the doctor at a respiratory clinic about my vagina. On my way home I asked a few of my friends who work in the medical field if this happens often, and they all assured me that the doctor probably thinks I'm very strange. Too long didn't read, asked the urgent care doctor many pointed questions about my vagina, only to find out afterwards that I was actually in the respiratory clinic's urgent care. Till that you can call pneumologists pulmonologists. As a non-native English speaker, but a Latin-rooted mother tongue, it sounds very weird to me lol. Pulmo is Latin, pneumo is Greek. All means the same, D. I mean, to be fair, he should have just said straight out that this isn't his area of expertise, and you should talk to your GP or gyno or whoever. As a nurse, it takes a lot more than that for anyone in the medical field to remember you for more than 30 seconds. We see so much and become so desensitized that it takes a lot for anything to be remembered for very long. While he probably wasn't expecting those questions, I assume the dude did go to med school and will be used to all sorts of things. I wouldn't worry too much about it, go get some sleep. The doctor probably thought you was odd, but tried to be as helpful as they could. I'd go what country you're in, but I'm surprised they didn't give you a referral to a gynecologist. See, this is what I'm thinking. He should have at least referred up to a gyno. Smiley face. Today I fucked up by having a crush while wearing a mask. Last Tuesday this really cute girl came into my class. First year at the university. She missed the first month and was a little bit behind. The teacher told me to help her. I gladly accepted. We exchanged numbers and agreed that she could call me if she needs any help. Later she needed some help setting up the online learning platform. Classes are online 3 days a week. So we started texting, and soon enough we're talking not just about school. I started getting excited every time I get a text from her. Later that week, on Saturday we had classes at the uni, so we talked, laughed together and had a great time overall, and I found myself truly enjoying being around her. Everything was going great, my grades were good, and I had this girl I was talking to, that I really liked. It seemed as my life was finally getting better, and I was enjoying every second of it. Today we meet, talk a bit and go to the class. After the class is over she said she was hungry and that we should go eat something. We go to the store and buy some food. As we were talking, I put my mask off so I could eat. She stops and looks at me, and I could tell something is up. We continue walking and then it hits me. She never saw me with my mask off, and was probably imagining a handsome guy. Man shrugging. After 5 awkward minutes we went back to class. We haven't talked since. I know it is funny in a way, but man, it hurts when you experience it. It felt like the whole world got taken away from me and I couldn't do anything. Hope this never happens to any of you guys. Stay safe, enjoy the little things life gives you and be happy. Too long didn't read, had a crush on a really cute girl that seemed interested in me. Everything was going great. It lasted a week, until she saw me with my mask off. Lesson learned, try enjoying where you are now, especially if you're happy. There is some dude banging a model and is bored of her. Looks fade, amazing relationships last. Find a new girl. Maybe she felt you were too attractive for her, aka out of her league. Ha, I love your energy, kind stranger. Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. Jesus, that sucks. Feel bad for you. What a terrible way to treat someone. Nah, that's okay, I don't think that was anyone's fault. She stopped talking to you based on your looks. I'm assuming you're an average person. You honestly lucked out. People like that can be toxic AF. Today I fucked up by telling a sick man he is lucky to have cancer. Obligatory not today. A few years back, so be me 17 meters in the hospital with a very severe case of pneumonia and pleurisy. The thing about me is since I was little I was super scared of needles. So as you can imagine, getting drips put in and getting injection was kind of my nightmare in the hospital. But the one day the drip IV they put in my hand hit a nerve and my whole hand swelled to the size of like 4 bee stings. Now comes the asshole part. So I'm sitting there in tremendous pain in my chest and lungs, a sore swollen hand and high AF on morphine and half a dozen other medications when an older man comes into the ward puking and looking close to death. The nurses and dress come into the ICU to get him set up and stable. Then all of a sudden I see it, a port on his chest, basically a plug and play for injections and IV drips for people undergoing chemo. When they got him stable and he was fine, a few minutes later I dead ass look this guy in the eyes and say he is so lucky to have chemo so he can get a port and doesn't need a drip put in like me. Luckily the guy had a really good sense of humor and burst out laughing, asking me what painkillers I'm on, and we chatted a lot after he was stable. That was probably the most stupid moment in my life, but he understood I was completely out of it. TLDR was high AF on morphine in the hospital and told a guy with cancer he is lucky cause he doesn't have to get injections in his arm like me. Don't be afraid of your own impulses and what you call being an asshole. It's your intentions that matter and what people pick up on rather than your words. I know you feel silly, but it probably made his day. Everyone shows pity to cancer people, but you, my man, gave a dead ass look and called him lucky. Smiley face, smiley face. I have cancer, am also a nurse, and I legit agree with your assessment of my port. So lucky. Would laugh and agree with you every time. You might have been the only thing that day that made him smile and laugh. With health problems bad enough to need ICU, a laugh is valuable as heck. That is the opposite of today I fucked up. Lol, that's a funny story. It's a good thing that he has a sense of humor, and I'm sure he appreciated the laugh.